If you can save yourself from watching this film, don't, okay? Save your hour and a half or however long it was, because I was very upset after watching this caca. Everybody, I am the Mademoiselle and this is my channel, and today we are going to be talking about Loqueesha. Now, if you haven't watched Loqueesha and you are going to watch Loqueesha and you want to watch Loqueesha, do not watch this video because it will spoil everything. I'm going to go through the whole synopsis. Before we get into this, make sure you smash that like button, smash that subscribe button, smash every button you know that can help a sister out on the road to 500K, posting Monday through Friday until we get there. Make sure you follow me on Instagram and double tap that notification bell to be notified every single time I post a video. If you guys do not know what Loqueesha is, it is a new film produced by Jeremy Saville, and it's supposed to be a comedy. However, a lot of people, in particular black women, did not find this movie funny, and here's why. To make a long story short, the movie follows a white man named Joe who applies for a radio job and doesn't get it as himself, so he decides to portray himself as a black woman, and he gets the job and basically lies to the world, portraying himself as this black woman named Loqueesha, okay? But Loqueesha is absolutely made up. Now, we can already tell that a lot of people were not too happy with this damn film. It's a hot ass mess. Now, the thing is with this Loqueesha shit, people were dragging this film before it even came out. Trailer debuted it in May. People were not having it. People did reactions. People did commentary. People were mad, okay? People was like, oh, no, we're not having it. We're not having it. And people kept sending it to me, wanting me to react to it. And I'm just like, I don't understand it. It's the same thing with the Mixed-ish thing. How you gonna react to a trailer? Can someone explain how that makes sense? That's like judging a book from its cover. You can't just read the cover of a book, be like, oh, nah, I don't like this. Nah, fuck it. I don't want to read it. That doesn't make any sense. You have to actually watch something before you judge it. I don't understand that logic. Why would you sit there and like react to a trailer and basically give all of this commentary on a trailer and you never even seen the film? Like, that's why I'm doing this video now, because I actually wanted to thoroughly watch it and give my input. Just a word of advice for any of you who are gonna send me video ideas: stop sending me trailers. That's stupid. If it's live, if the movie has came out, the series has came out, I will watch it and I will review it if I feel like it. But if it didn't come out yet, stop telling me to give my opinions on shit that's not even out yet, okay? That makes no sense. You can't give your opinion on something that hasn't even started. That's dumb. Now, this trailer came out in May, and I think it finally dropped about a week or so ago, and I finally got to watch it yesterday. Not sure when you guys are gonna see this video, but you get the gist. The story follows a divorced bartender named Joe, which is Jeremy Saville. He directed the film and he also starred in the film as well. And basically his ex-wife wants to put their son in a gifted and talented school because he's excelling at his regular school, and basically, you know, she wants him to do better. However, the school tuition is extremely high, and you know, he's just a bartender. I'm sure she can't afford it on her own either, so she's expecting him to, you know, find a better job so he can help pay for the kid to be in school. He doesn't know what he's going to do. He's stressed. However, he has the gift of giving advice, like a really good gift at giving advice.
You always seem to say the right thing to just the right person. What's your secret?
I'm really just talking to myself.
Even though he works as a bartender, he's always giving the regular people who come in there advice on their lives. So one day, this girl named Rachel, and she's a black woman, keep this in mind, walks into the store and she starts talking about her issues, and basically he shuts her down, tells her about herself, and gives her the best advice she's ever gotten. And she's like, you know what? You should definitely be a radio host. And he's like, yeah, no, like, I'm cool where I'm at. I don't want to be a radio host.
Don't charge for my advice.
Well, you should, because it was amazing. I saw this and I thought of you. You will be a hit in no time.
Welcome to the Joe Show.
You know, she's pushing him, like, yo, oh my God, you should be a radio host, you should be a radio host, you should be a radio host. So she helps him with a demo tape. They submit it to the local radio station, and boom, he gets rejected, does not get the job.
I submitted myself to a radio station for my own show.
Well, congratulations.
They rejected me.
Well, congratulations then.
Now, this bums him out even though he didn't really want the job, but it really bummed him out because he still needed the money to put his kid through school. So one day he's in his apartment and he stumbles upon some black woman arguing on TV, and he's like, oh, you know, that's very interesting. And then, you know, he stumbles upon like an ad that says, you know, women and minorities need apply, stuff like that. And he's like, oh, you know, they don't want me as a white man, you know, they definitely want me as a black woman. And he got the bright idea to start giving advice as if he was a black woman. Now, when I say black woman, take this lightly, okay? So he got the whole boys going, doing this, snapping ain't a problem, talking like, yeah, like, y'all, it's a hot ass fucking mess.
You live with Loqueesha. What's your problem?
Hi, Loqueesha. It's Bree.
Oh, I ain't talking to you, not the way you sound. Next caller.
So basically, you know, at this point, he develops a online following as Loqueesha. You know, he's giving advice, he's getting followers, blase blase. And then he submits an audition tape to the same place that rejected him as Loqueesha. Okay? So, if you're not following, white man applies for a radio job, giving advice. It was good audio tape. However, they did not accept his application. Same white man portrays himself as a black woman, caricature, stereotypes and all, gets the job instantly. Now, in the movie, you could tell he's trying to come off as if he's conflicted. He doesn't want to do it. It's morally wrong. He feels some type of way. However, of course, he does it anyway. Now, a lot of you are probably like, wait, but how did he manage to do this and not get caught? When they called up for an interview, he decided that he was going to say he is xenophobic. If you guys do not know what xenophobic is, basically it means that you don't fuck with nobody of any race. Basically, you're racist. So like nobody, I don't want to be near no one. I want to be able to do the show from my house. And they're like, that's not possible. Unless you have like a radio station in your house, like that's not possible. He's like, oh, well, you know, those are the terms, da 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 da. And then he's like, all right, you know what? I'll come to the studio, but I don't want nobody in my sessions. I don't want nobody walking in on me. No one can see who I am. I'm trying to conceal my identity. And they're like, oh, why? And he references the Jennifer Hudson situation, if you guys do not know about that. Jennifer Hudson's family was savagely murdered back in the early 2000s, and I found that interesting. Like, why would you, I don't know. The thing is, I understand like comedians like to make jokes, but I feel like that's not something to be making a joke about. Like, when it comes to people dying, people's deaths, you can't just be making jokes about it. So basically he used that as a reasoning of, oh yeah, you know, I don't want nobody to, you know, come and kill me or kill y'all, go after y'all. And you know, there's a lot of people out there that want to hurt me, so you know, I'm trying to protect all of us. You know, that was his excuse of, don't come in my studio, I don't want my identity revealed.
It's gonna be the biggest thing in radio, but I still need my anonymity.
They respected his wishes, and he went on to be Loqueesha on air, and the shit went lit. Okay, now you have to keep in mind that this radio station that hired him was plummeting. Okay, their ratings were going down. No one was listening to them. Like, they were in danger of completely shutting down because like their listeners dropped dramatically. As soon as Loqueesha came on, ratings skyrocketed. Now, they first put Loqueesha like at nighttime. Okay, they didn't put her during drive time. Drive time is like the morning. They put her during nighttime, and that's usually how most radio hosts start, depending on who you are, but most of the time that's how you're gonna start. And they paid him about $500 a week, and you know, he needed to get an engineer, and he gets this engineer, and his name is Mason, I believe. Mason, you know, knows that he's doing this, works in cahoots with him. And that's another, and I'm gonna get to that later, but I find that very interesting how a black man sat there and condoned this. But anyhow, again, the show is a hit. Loqueesha becomes like an overnight celebrity almost, and now they want to give her the daytime spot. Okay, so they want Loqueesha to be, you know, during drive time, which is a lot of money and a lot of attention. So, you know, at this point they're like, all right, you know, we can't keep doing this, because if we keep doing this, we're gonna get found out. Like, people are gonna figure out who we are. So what do? They try to audition to find Loqueesha. Yes, they audition to find a girl that looks, acts, talks just like Loqueesha. And this girl is Renee.
She is a real role model for every African American woman on this planet.
Now, Renee, honestly, is the only part of the movie I laughed at. The rest of this movie did not make me laugh, not once. I ain't laugh at none of the jokes. The only thing that made me laugh was Renee's audition. That shit was hilarious. I like her. I hope to see Renee in future things. She did a very good job in this film. However, the way black people done dragged this film and the way a lot of people have canceled this film, who knows? I feel like everybody in this film might just be blackballed, but I'm gonna say that for later. So at this point, everything's going great. Identity is concealed. They got the face, you know. And now it becomes an issue. Sorry if y'all heard that thunder. New Jersey weather has been ridiculous lately. And now it comes to a point where Joe is now getting conflicted. Part of the movie I didn't like. Now it's like he's talking to himself. Like one minute he's Loqueesha, the next minute he's him, but he's talking to himself. Guys, this movie was just very corny. It was very ridiculous, and I can't. I really can't, okay? Now let's go back to Rachel, okay? Rachel calls into Loqueesha, who again is really Joe, which is the guy that she helped try to apply for this job. Calls into the show and she's like, hey, you remind me of my friend Joe, blah blah blah. I think I have a crush on him. What should I do? Mind you, this is Joe. So basically Joe has manipulated this girl and given her advice about what to do, which is ridiculous, okay? So that's insane to do that to someone who helped you and gave you the idea to apply for a radio job in the first place. Rachel, you know, goes and expresses her feelings to Joe. They kiss, blase blase. Joe can't go through with it, runs away. She doesn't really come up till the end of the movie. So basically now Joe's feeling bad. He's feeling conflicted. He feels some type of way. He's getting offers from Oprah Winfrey Network to have his own show. It's just getting too much for him. Eventually he ends the show. But when he ends the show the first time, he doesn't say why he's ending the show. He's just like, oh, you know, this is my last show. Now at this point, Renee, which is the face of Loqueesha to the public, gets upset, okay? She is mad. That's another thing I didn't like about this. The way they portrayed her was absolutely ridiculous to me. So she gets mad and she decides, oh, you know what? I'm gonna be Loqueesha. You don't want to be Loqueesha? I could be Loqueesha. You know, all you're doing is identity theft. I could be a black woman because I am a black woman, so I'm gonna show you how it's done. So she goes and tries to be Loqueesha, but it doesn't work. It backfires horrendously. She has a meltdown on air and people start not tuning into her. They stop listening, the ratings go down, shit hits the fan, and people are upset. Now the radio station's mad and they're like, yo, like what the hell is wrong with you? Mind you, they still think that she's the Loqueesha the entire time when it was really Joe, and Joe has left and it's her trying to do it because she wants the money. That's the whole point. She wants the money, she wants the opportunity, and she's like, you know, you can't just give an opportunity like that. But what she doesn't understand is at the end of the day, even though Joe is the one putting on the voice and Joe is technically Loqueesha, Joe gives the advice. You know, Joe is the advice. Like, can't give advice like anyone else. Everyone gives advice a different way. So she's not good at giving advice at all. She just has the voice, the persona, you know, the face. So basically the radio station gets upset. They're basically going to fire her. But, you know, fast forward, Joe eventually comes and says that, you know, he is Loqueesha. He tells the radio station, and the radio station, which I find insane, tells him that, you know, he can still do the show because apparently since Loqueesha is just an imaginary character, people shouldn't be upset that it's not real. This shit threw me for a loop because I'm just like, this man lied and bamboozled people for a good amount of time. Granted, he did help a lot of people. He did give some good advice, but he lied and bamboozled people for a good amount of time. You guys are gonna let him keep his job? He goes on air, he tells the truth, tells the whole truth, the whole story, ends up saying, you know, we can either keep me as Loqueesha, we can make it the Joe show, or we can just cancel this all together. They do a Facebook poll, everything's an equal tie, and he goes on to make the Joe show. Yes, at the end of this, he gets to keep his show. Ridiculous. So a lot of people already made their minds up about this, and a lot of people, which I'm sure are gonna comment down below, didn't even know about this film, which honestly I think is great. Okay, if you can save yourself from watching this film, don't. Okay, save your hour and a half or however long it was, because I was very upset after watching this caca. This movie was boring as all hell. Okay, I didn't laugh. It was supposed to be funny. I didn't cry. There was supposed to be some sad part. Didn't feel sympathy because I didn't understand the point of you using a black woman's caricature to advance yourself. Movie did it retake me, but at the same time, I did not know how to feel at the end of that. I'm gonna tell you that right now. I had no idea how to feel. I was very numb. I had to take notes because I was just like, what did I just watch? Why did I just watch it? And can I get my time back? Like, God, universe, whoever handles that, can you like rewind? Can we like give me my time back? Like, I personally do not understand what I watched, why I watched it, and why in the world the movie was made in the first place. Now, this is the thing, right? I feel like a lot of people who are mad at this can't be the same people out here watching Medea and all these other black women caricatures that are always pushed in Hollywood, because I feel like that's a bit motherfucking hypocritical, don't you think? Realistically speaking, we have been made fun of our entire lives, okay? We have been the butt of every joke. We have been trash talked. We have been dehumanized. We have been disregarded. Our feelings, our hair, our looks, our skills, everything, especially black women. Especially in this climate, this is not the time to be making a movie like that. On top of that, it's just a slap in the face. Like, black women are on this journey of self-love, self-acceptance, and self-respect, okay? We are on this journey of uplifting ourselves, uplifting our elders, and uplifting our youth and futures to come. So when people make movies like this, when people crack jokes, when people make disrespectful tweets about, you know, the light skin versus dark skin and the kinky hair versus the loose texture hair, or the big booty versus the no booty, and the big titties versus the no titty, and all of these things basically coming at black women in particular messes us up. It sets us back. While there's a lot of us out here trying to uplift black women and black girls, there's someone out there bashing us, making us look bad, making us feel some type of way. And I believe that that is the reason a lot of people don't mess with this Loqueesha movie. I absolutely understand it. Like, there were certain parts that I was like, okay, I guess he's trying to bring light to issues that a lot of black women face in the industry of media and stuff like that. But to be completely honest with you, the whole entire movie was absolutely inaccurate. Now, I personally did not see what metropolitan area this took place in, but what I'm going to say has a lot to do with any metropolitan area, especially a heavily populated one such as Los Angeles, New York, Chicago, Atlanta, places like that, right? So this looked like it took place in a highly metropolitan area, okay? And this was a radio job. If you guys do not know, I have a bachelor's in communications with a concentration in broadcast journalism from Bloomfield College, and I am getting my public relations master's from Full Sail University. I graduate in like 2 to 3 weeks, right? So one of my main passions is radio. It used to be like legit my goal, my end all be all, like I want to be a radio host, that's it. I've since switched gears. I'll get into that in another video one day. But as a communication student, and if you're watching this and you are a communication student, a media student, you would know what I'm about to say is true, okay? When it comes to TV, when it comes to radio, when it comes to anything in the media entertainment realm, you will not just get a job like that on that type of level that quickly. And that's something I didn't like. I didn't like the portrayal of, okay, just because you're a minority, just because you're a woman, just because you're black, essentially, you're going to get this role because you're different. You're going to get this role because people want you, because you're diverse. That's absolutely not true. There is not that many black women in radio. There's not many minorities in radio at all. It is still a white dominated field, but yet a white male dominated field. And not only that, like I said before, it would be very difficult for anyone, okay, white, black, pink, green, male, female, to get that type of job in a metropolitan area of that scale, okay? Now, he applied for the job the first time, you know, as himself, he didn't get it. But when he applied as the black woman with the Loqueesha voice and all of that situation, that's when he got it. Now, realistically, this would not happen in real life. Let's be real here. It just wouldn't. It would not happen in real life. Like I said, that's unrealistic. That would have never happened, okay? Usually, when it comes to the media, entertainment world, you have to move to like a very small market. Very rarely do people start in big markets or big cities, because the way that the system is worked out, there's people before you who have already paid their dues. Okay, so you who's fresh out of college, you may have all the experience, but there's Jacob Johnson who worked in Idaho radio stations, Minnesota radio stations, Kentucky radio stations, Texas radio stations. Now he's applying for a New York job. Now you got you who's fresh out of college and you only did college radio. Who the fuck you think is gonna get the job? Like, that's just really what it is. Like, there's people out there who have paid their dues. They've been personal assistants. They've done nighttime radio. They've done little radio. They haven't gotten paid enough. Maybe they've gotten paid more, maybe gotten paid less. But the point is, there's people who have worked their way from the bottom to up there. And everyone essentially has to do the same thing, okay? You're not just gonna go fresh out of college, apply for a radio on-air job and get it. Okay, that's an extremely rare thing. Like, I don't even think it's ever happened, okay? If you look at every TV anchor, every radio host, every this, that, and the third, I can assure you, they did not just fresh out of college get a TV anchor job. I'm sure they were a production assistant, they were an intern, they were an office assistant. They know there's no way they got an on-air TV job just like that. There's no way they got an on-air radio job just like that. There's no way they became a meteorologist just like that. I'm telling you this right now, that's just how it works. And as a communication student, that was one of the first things I learned. I chose that major and when I started doing my classes. So I was like, okay, this is extremely inaccurate, okay? Not only is this a white dominated field, but there's no way a black woman would get hired at a major radio station like that right off the bat without them seeing her face or interviewing her face to face for all of that time. And then, you know, no. Y'all hear that thunder? Y'all hear that thunder? That's nuts. But there's no way a black woman is gonna get that type of position, that type of caliber, and skyrocket that fast. My next issue was the fact that they tried to portray Renee as crazy. Now, Renee was the face of Loqueesha that they auditioned after everything started getting hectic. Now, Renee started getting upset towards the end when Joe said he didn't want to do it anymore, and she had a whole meltdown on the radio, and I did not like that at all. I'm like, why are y'all making her come off to be crazy? Like, bitch. Like, that shit was very, very annoying to me. I didn't like that at all. Like, the way they portrayed her was annoying, but she was honestly one of the best actors. Another annoyance I had was this Mason man. So Mason was the producer, and Mason basically helped Joe conceal the secret in the beginning before Renee was there. I need to understand why the hell he was okay with this. And a lot of black men and a lot of us black people need to think about this. Like, why would a black man help a white man become successful portraying to be a black woman? Why? I just that honestly didn't sit well with me. I'm like, why would you go along with this? For the money? You thought it was funny? Did you think he was actually helping people? Because I mean, he was helping people. He stopped one girl from committing suicide during the movie. But it's just like, I personally don't understand, like, why would you go along with this? This is wrong on every level. Like, there was a lot of things that he said in this film that irritated me, and one of the first things he said was,
"It's not a crime, it's theater."
This is the thing, right? I think that I'm a black woman stereotype. A lot of people like to say that I'm a black woman stereotype. So now I've owned the shit, whatever, right? At the same time, this is my personality. I don't sit here and act a certain way in front of camera. I don't sit here and act a certain type of way around certain people. I am who I am. I act the way I act. I could turn it off. I could turn it on. It is what it is. That's just me. But to actually portray yourself like that, as in, like, make yourself be that way because you think all black women are like that, is trash. Not all black women are like that. If you're like that and you're a black woman, that's fine. That's just your personality. Realistically, this movie felt like mocking, okay? It felt like he was mocking black women. It felt like he was making a joke. He was making a parody out of the way a lot of black women act. And again, this does not represent all black women, but the black women who do act like that. It's like a slap in the face almost. And the fact that he called it theater, it's like, you think that our personalities is an act, bitch? Come again? Get slapped, white boy, get slapped. Another thing he said, during one of his sessions when he was doing a Loqueesha show, he was talking to a white person, and he was telling the white person,
oh, you know, say what you want to say, you know, do what you want to do. You white people are always slaves to what other people think.
I'm like, white people are slaves to what other people think. Now, I do understand that a lot of times white people do tend to be villainized, and a lot of times people don't let them speak, people don't let them have an opinion. White people can't talk a lot of times. People shut white people down in a heartbeat. And I mean, it is what it is. Like, when you have a history of oppressing, killing, stealing, raping, kidnapping shit, that's what happens. That's just the way the cookie crumbles. Not saying it's okay, but that was just very interesting to me. I'm like, okay, I don't think you guys are slaves to what other people think, but alright. There was a scene when he was making out with Rachel, and he had a meltdown, okay? He was talking to himself. Minute he was Loqueesha, next minute he's Joe, and he didn't know what to do. And eventually he bursts out and he says,
I think that I'm a black woman stuck in a white man's body.
Now, you know, I've reacted to a lot of transracial people, and I think that they're a little lost, okay? But I wouldn't sit there and make jokes about them, okay? I think that's ridiculous. Like, at the end of the day, I feel like people who believe that they're transracial do have some sort of mental health crisis, and it's not okay to make fun of them. It's one thing to discuss them or say you don't agree or think that they're a little off, but to like make a joke about it is ridiculous as hell. I started getting very annoyed. There was just little things that were said throughout the movie that was just like, what in the hell is this? What am I watching? What was very interesting to me is when Loqueesha literally started making numbers, like legit, like got famous, and the ratings starting to go up. They wanted to put her in drive time, and which is, you know, daytime, like I said earlier. And the radio station was like, oh no, are you crazy? We're gonna have to pay her more. And that's interesting because at the time they hadn't met her. They didn't know. They just thought, you know, she was some black woman. So I'm like, that's interesting. It opened my eyes to that because I was like, okay, because I'm pretty sure it's because she's a black woman. And because, well, Loqueesha was very vulgar, and at nighttime you could say a lot of things on the radio that you can't say in the daytime. And they were more concerned about their ratings and, like, you know, how people would perceive it, and, like, if they would get in trouble for anything like what Loqueesha would say on air during drive time. Besides those concerns, it was like, oh, nah, she gonna want to be paid more. And it's like, skyrocketing your ratings, you should be paying her more. Even if you do keep her in the same slot, you should be paying her more. So I found that interesting too. So I'm like, okay, maybe that's what he was trying to bring light to. There was also another scene where there was a racist white man who called into the show. And basically, he read him for filth and told him about himself. And that's when he said, behind every successful black woman is a man behind her who wishes he could do it. I really liked that part. And I was like, okay. I'm thinking that this is the point of it, but at the same time there was a lot of interesting situations. I found it interesting at the end how Rachel basically cursed Joe the fuck out in the end when she figured out that Joe was Loqueesha, but still ended up having sex with him. Yeah, she called him racist and still fucked him at the end of the night. So you got one black man complying with your nonsense and keeping your secret because essentially he's getting paid. You got one black woman, which is Renee, out here basically acting a damn fool, making her look money hungry and insane because now she wants the fame. She feels like she deserves the notoriety. And now you got Rachel who's fucking you after she blatantly called you racist. Don't get me wrong. Black actors in this movie did a very good job. But all three of them weren't portrayed too damn well when you think about it in this movie, okay? Mason complied, Renee was nuts, and Rachel was depicted as the stereotypical black woman who will take anything that she can get, who does not give a fuck about her morals per se. Because it's funny, because during the entire movie she's basically going through this whole situation with her boyfriend, okay? She leaves her boyfriend, she goes back with her boyfriend, and now she likes Joe. She calls him racist, she argues with him, but then she has sex with him. You see where I'm getting at with that? It's like, okay, I'm just not a fan of how the black people were portrayed in this. And finally, I'm not a fan of how he got to keep his show in the end. That makes absolutely no sense to me. It's also not realistic. Let's be real here. If something like this were to happen in real life, he would have been canceled, dragged for fucking filth for the rest of his life. It would have been no Joe show, okay? This would have never happened, ever. I don't know what type of alternate reality he was in when he was writing this script, but that would have never happened. Overall, I give the movie a 5 out of 10, and that's only because I liked Renee, okay? I liked Renee. She was a very good actor. She did a very good job. Other than that, the movie was just boring. Movie just overall wasn't great, okay? It had a okay storyline, and it was interesting in the beginning, but it just started to fall very flat. Like, it started flatlining after they found the Loqueesha, and everything just became mainstream and everything was fine. After that, I was like, alright, whatever. You know, when he started talking to himself and all that, that's when the movie really went downhill for me. I was like, yeah, alright, I'm tired. I don't want to see this caca no more. So yeah, if you guys want to watch the movie, you are free to watch the movie. It is on Amazon. If you have Amazon Prime, you can most likely watch it for free. A lot of people were under the preconceived notion that this movie was going to air in theaters. This movie did not air in theaters, y'all. It's online. Now that I watched the movie, I understand why people are upset. However, I don't understand how you can be upset about something you did not watch, okay? I just don't believe in reacting to trailers and getting mad over something you didn't watch yet. I believe in actually watching something fully, then giving my full-blown opinion, and not just reading an article and watching a trailer and seeing some tweets and now you're making a video. I think that's nonsensical. So yeah, if you want to watch it, you can watch it. It might trigger you, it might not. For me, it wasn't really triggering. It was just very much annoying. Basically told you how the whole movie goes in this video, so honestly, there's no need to watch it if you don't want to. Let me know what you think about this movie down in the comment section below. Do you think that him portraying as a black woman is okay? Do you think that him portraying as a black woman is harmless? Like, what do you think about that? And also, what do you think about other black men doing it? You know, you got Medea, and all these other characters that have been brought up through the years, from movies to TV shows to sitcoms to online series and stuff like that. What do you think about that? Let me know down below. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, do all that, and I'm gonna see y'all next time.